Good morning, students. Today we discuss about the computer networks, third year, topic OSI model. Next, the table of contents. First of all, what is the definition for OSI model? Next, introduction. What are the layers of OSI model? Purpose of OSI model? Conclusion. The OSI model stands for Open System Interconnection. It has been developed by ISO, International Standard Organization. The International Standard Organization, in the year 1984, they have to establish the OSI model. It is a reference model. It does not execute, does not follow the any development, just it has to only reference for later invention. The OSI model has 7-layer architecture, each layer having some specific function to perform. All these 7 layers work collaboratively to transmit the data from one person to another across the world. There are 7 layers. Each layer have performed some specific function. The 7 layers of OSI model. First of all, physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, application layer. In the OSI model, the first layer is the physical layer. It is the lowest layer of OSI reference model, is the physical layer. It is responsible for actually physical connection between the device, the one device to other end device, source device to other device. The physical connection will be established by the physical layer. The physical layer contains the information in the form of bits. It is responsible for transmitting individual bits from one node to next node. While receiving the data, this layer will get the signal received and converts it into zeros and ones and send them to the data link layer, which is create the frame. While receiving the physical layer, the signal convert the zeros and ones and send to them to the data link layer. The data link layer create the frames. The functions of physical layer. First of all, it is a bit synchronization. The bit synchronization means the physical layer provides the synchronization of bits by providing a clock. Bit rate control, the transmission rate. The physical layer also defines the transmission rate, that is number of bits transmit per second. Next, they have to assign the physical topology. The physical layer specifies the different topologies like bus, star, mesh topology. The transmission mode, also the physical layer defines the data flow between two connected devices. That means it is a simplex mode or half duplex or full duplex. Next layer is the data link layer. The data link layer is responsible for node-to-node delivery of the message. The main function of this layer is to make sure data transfer is error-free from one node to another over the physical layer. When a packet arrives in a network, it is the responsible for transmit to the host using its MAC address. The functions of data link layer are, first one is a framing. The framing is nothing but the collection of bits are formed into framing. That means the number of bits has to meaningful message from the receiver. The physical address another function is physical addressing. After creating frames, the data link layer adds physical address. That means MAC address. The sender and the receiver header. Each frame has sender address and a receiver address in the MAC address. Error control. The data link layer provides the mechanism of error control in which suppose the received data has some error, means that it has to retransmit damaged or lost frames. Next, another function is here flow control. The flow control is the data rate must be sender and receiver must be constant on both sides. Because suppose the flow of data will be increased, they may be corrupted. So the flow control coordinates the amount of data that can be sent before receiving acknowledgement. Access control. When a single communication channel is shared here multiple devices. Suppose you got to send any data from source to destination, it has to share multiple devices. Each multiple devices has control. The medium was which one device has to be controlled, has to be accessed at a given time. Next, the network layer. Another third layer is the network layer. The network layer works for the transmission of data from one host to another, located in different networks. It also takes care of packet routing. The selection of shortest path to transmit the packet from the number of routes available. There is a number of routes available. Which path is shortest, that has to chosen by the network layer and the data will be transmitted. And also the sender and the receiver IP address are placed in the header of the network layer. The functions of network layer, first of all, it is a routing. Routing means there is a number of routes are available. So you have to choose which route is suitable for source and destination. This function of the network layer is known as routing. Next, logical address. In order to identify each device, the logical address is nothing but it is a IP address. Each device has the unique IP address. That IP address will be added with the header from the sender and a receiver. The next layer is the transport layer. The transport layer transmits the data from the one end to another end. It has to responsible for transfer the segment. It is responsible for the end-to-end delivery of the complete message. The transport layer also provides the acknowledgement of the successful data transmission and retransmit the data if an error is found. The functions of transport layer are segmentation and reassembly. This layer accepts the message from session layer and breaks the message into smaller units. Each of the units produces header associated with it. Service point addressing. Next, another function is here service point addressing or port address. To deliver a message to the correct address, the transport layer header includes the type of address called service point address or port address. Next, the session layer. The session layer is responsible for the establishment of connection maintenance of session, authentication, and also ensure the security. The functions of session layer, first of all, session establishment, maintenance, and termination. The source and destination, first of all, the session will be established. First, the connection will be established. Next, send the data. Third one is here, terminate the data. Synchronization. Next, this layer allows a process to add checkpoints which are considered in synchronization points into the data. Next, the presentation layer is also called the translation layer. The data from the application layer is extracted here and manipulated as per the required format to transmit over the network. The functions of present layer, translation, encryption, decryption, compression. First of all, translation means the message has ASCII value to EBCDH. That means human understandable language into machine understandable language. The message has alphabets, combination of numbers. That message will be translated into machine understandable zeros and ones. Encryption and decryption. Encryption and decryption. The data will be translated from one end to another end. The data will be encrypted. That means the data converted into another form. The encrypted data is known as cybertext, and the decrypted data is known as plain text. A key value is used for encrypting and as well as decrypting data. It is a securing data. The data will be transmitted from one end to another end. The unknown person will not be read the message, will not be understand message. We have done the encryption and decryption is a secured data. Compression means reduce the number of bits that need to be transmitted on the network. If there is a large number of data, large number of bits are compressed or reduced to needed transmitted on the network. Next layer is the application layer. At the application layer is top of the OSI reference model. The application layer has many number of network application. This network application layer has many number of protocols. These protocols are used to perform the data transmission. The functions of application layer are network virtual terminal, FTAM, that is a file transfer access and management, mail service. We have to use the SMTP protocol and the directory service. These are the services, these are the functions of the OSI model. The purpose of OSI model is to as a technology for vendors and developers. So the digital communication product and software program they create can interoperate and promote a clear framework that describes the functions of a network or telecommunications that in use. These are the simply we have to represent 7 layers. What are the responsibility? The information that is a data unit. First of all, the application layer helps the identify the client and synchronize the communicate that is in the message format. In the presentation layer, the data will be compressed and translated and encrypted and decrypted. That is a message format. In the session layer, the session will be established. That is, the connection will be established from the client and server or one node to another host. Network layer, the network layer of transmission of data from one node, one host to another host with a, in the different networks by identifying the IP address. The transport layer is the heart of the OSI model. It has the port number. That number are used to identify the source and destination. The data link layer, note in the delivery of message that has to in the frame format. A physical layer, the frames are converted into bits. That bits are converted into signals. That signal will be transmitted from source to destination from the different networks. Finally, the OSI model acts as a reference model and does not implement on the internet because of its late invention. The current model being used is the TCP/IP model. Thank you.